let you know that everything is going to be all right. So how do I have victory? Two things. I have two things to tell you about how you can have victory. Two things. Number one, remember, here it is, the promise of Jesus. Remember the promise. When you look back now at verse 22, Jesus releases a prophetic promise over their lives. He says, we're going to get in the boat and go over to the other side. Now you got to look carefully in the spirit to catch the prophetic of the promise. The promise is we are going to make it because he did not say get in the boat and we may get there. He did not say get in the boat and we're planning on getting there. He didn't say get in the boat and we might get there. He says get in the boat and we are going over to the other side. We will land on the other side. You got to remember the promise. Remember that the promise was given to prepare them for the problem. Jesus knew that the problem would occur. They didn't know. But the promise he gave them was to remind them that no matter what happens on the way, we're going to get to the other side. Why? Because he promised. And oh God, that's where the shout is right there. Because he promised. When people look at you and they watch you going through what you are going through, and you are dealing with what you are dealing with, just look them straight in the eye and say, I don't know, but I know God promised. I don't know when I'm going to come out, but he promised. I don't know how I'm going to come out, but he promised. And because he promised me, he'll give me the strength I need to get to the other side. Anybody on their way? Anybody going? Anybody want to get to the other side? Let me hear you say yes. I'm going to get there. 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 The promise was given to prepare them for the problem. Yeah. The promise is heard before the problem is seen. The problem is seen in verse 23, but the problem or the promise is heard in verse 22. The water is the problem in verse 23, but the promise is the word in verse 23. This means that before they ever saw the problem, they heard the promise that Jesus had already given. In other words, my brothers and sisters, when you run into problems, you cannot go all the time on what you see and what's in front of you, but remember what you heard. You gotta remember what you heard. In the times of problems, you got to focus on the voice of the master. I never will forget, a preacher friend of mine was on his way to London to study at Oxford, and he wanted me to keep his brand new car while he was gone. And he said, man, I don't want to park it at the airport. I want you to drive it around for me. I said, oh yeah, Doc. I can drive a brand new car without paying a note. I can do all of that. Yeah, I'm glad to take care of it for you. And when I got in the car, I noticed the car had voice command. And you could just speak to the car and it would just do whatever you asked it to do. I said, oh my God. Radio on. And nothing happened. And I said, well, okay, maybe that's the wrong command. I said, okay, window down. I'm sitting up in there hot. Window still up. I said, windshield wipers on. And I started screaming at the car because maybe the car couldn't hear me. So I couldn't wait for him to get back. When he got back, I said, man, listen, you need to go get your money back. I said, because I've been screaming at this